Good morning. Aloha from tropical Montana. This is Samuel Hofman, Montana Skywatchers 1 and 2 on Facebook and on YouTube. Good morning from myself and James Klingler. And, I mention his name because he helps me out with the videos. And enough of a little Mozart Requiem here. I'm talking to you today on the 15th of March 2017. Trying to get you guys all caught up to some changes that have been going on since last month, and of course it's the 15th again, so it's time to put out another video. Pardon me, I'll drop this tunes here a little bit more so I don't have to talk quite so loud. Hopefully you all can hear me out there. Of course we're still dealing with the magic crayon department, as I've so heartily been handed crap over. Well, crayons seem to work for the coloration, and it happens to be what I have. Anyway. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. I would like to give you a heads up for starters on maybe some of you new folks out there are wondering about the good old planet Nibiru. Well, Nibiru came in to... Well, let me rephrase that. It is our solar system, that came to the larger group of our binary solar system. We always have had two suns. We always will have two suns. It's part of the compounded space that we are. Anyway, we have a group of planets along with our smaller Sol. Now, there are two suns out there, ladies and gentlemen. Always, always, always has been, always will be. It's a compound of our binary solar system. This is what I wrote my paper on in 1980. Actually, it was written in 1978, but it wasn't crushed or sequestered until 1980. Anyway, Nibiru is a large water-type planet. It's larger than the rock type. It is supposedly, because I haven't been there, nor have I gotten the measurements myself or any off-world actual information of the size. But anyway, hypothetically speaking, supposedly this thing is 7 times the size of Earth. Now, it has some rock masses, and we have seen a very similar picture to this early 2012. There was close passes. There have been several close passes on the planet, and we'll get to the close pass issue here in a little bit. But I want you to know, Nibiru is not red. Nibiru is a very huge, massive, sky-filling, when it comes close to us, Earth that is, sky-filling water planet with land masses, etc., clouds, etc., etc., etc. Now, I'd like to point out that each of the planets have a different base cloud. This one is a set of fingers. It's sort of almost like a hand holding in front, and you'd see it like that on the bottom of the planet. There's little fingers. Now, Saru is also a water-type planet. She is massive, but she's a little bit smaller than Nibiru, supposedly 5 times the size of Nibiru. Now, Saru is a little bit lighter green-blue because it's fabled to have less deep oceans. And, of course, we didn't get a really good picture, or at least I didn't. I imagine there's some people out there that have some shots of it. But we've seen land masses, but moreover, we've seen a lot of cloud cover that depicted little, like how the Earth was when the Earth was new, etc. Smaller ocean, rocky type display. Anyway, it's hard to describe because we didn't really get a lot of view on here. Now, Saru has this big, huge, massive base cloud. She's got a large open hole at the pole, and it's highly illuminated, and sometimes it illuminates very, very thickly along the thing. Now, we've got many pictures coming in, literally from 2011 going on all the way up till she was visible and straight along next to Earth within LOS, line of sight, all the way up until about 2014, when the planet play started, where we started seeing Nepesity and Isatum come in closer to us, and that's what caused change in our view. Now, I could go back again here. When we look at our view, people are always asking, well, where's Nibiru, where's Nibiru? Now, I've never really gone over this live on camera with anybody, but, we can say this is little Earth here. Now, Nepesity and Isatum. Isatum is bigger than Nepesity, and in some pictures, and the reason that this is smaller here, it has to do with what we see, not necessarily the size of the planet. But this is kind of a view of why we cannot see Nibiru, because if we're looking out, and of course the sun's here, and this is our eastern or our western setting view where we're staring towards the sun, and that's where the planets have always been. They've been between Earth and us, and everybody, asks us questions like, hey, how come we can't see them at night? Well, because at night we're facing the opposite direction this way, and the planets have been between the sun, and in some cases even behind the sun in a different orbitation. But everybody wondered, why can't we see them? And we'll get into that. I've got some diagrams. We'll show you the color issues and the light issues. And you have to think of light in space. If it doesn't hit on anything, like a gas or an atmosphere, you're not going to see it. You could stand right next to light, it'll pass by you, and you won't see it because it has to refract down into a prism effect, that which our eyes can see. Now, perhaps other beings can see other things in other spectrums, but that's another story entirely. Anyway, the reason that the new people cannot see Nibiru, and it's not red, and everybody's still, I hate to go there, but WSO, Nibiru channel, and I'm not trying to cut anybody down through this, and I actually hope you guys spend the time watching my material so that you understand this, because it's I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you guys, because this is what we see. It's important information. I think this is a showtime of a lifetime. We'll never ever see this ever again. I mean, of course, then, I have to say, we don't know how long Nibiru and Saru and Yuri and Atu and the sisters are here for. We have no clue. I mean, they're not on one spiral up from behind the sun and passing. What they've done is we have joined together, and we came to the larger standard red. Now, the red and the dwarf yellow soul are apparently, now we don't get a lot of evidence of this, but we do see some of it in some pictures. They are apparently still joined. Now, that could be happening different. We've had some anomalous photos that are they're showing some activity in different ways, but then there's so much going on right now that we have to really get into this, because it's phenomenal changes, and they've been going way faster. It used to be where we could judge the planetary position for a month and 2 months, and okay, yawn, this is boring, this is still over here, this is still over here. I mean, I don't know how many times I've typed @2 in front of Yuri, @2 in front of Yuri, @2 in front of Yuri, and the reason that is because it goes back all the way to 2014. @2 or actually, I believe 2013, 2014, when @2 finally came in. Now, we can't say @2. What we have to say is when we, orbiting Earth, came past @2 the first time. Now, anyway, here's what I was always saying. @2 in front of Yuri, @2 in front of Yuri, @2 in front of Yuri. Okay, @2 and Yuri have generically orbited on this side of Saru. And Nibiru would be over here at this point in time, because everything has come in, gotten bigger, 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 and then moved to this direction. Move to the right. All the arriving planets have done this. Well, that has changed. All of a sudden, mid-February, the whole ballgame changed. And I'm not completely sure exactly how this happened or what happened, but I believe it has to do with us turning our corner around our orbitation and co-orbitation with the larger standard red second sun. And I believe that when we came around our winter loop, it was actually like this. We came into them, and they were on this side, and we were on the far side of our winter orbit, and we were watching them for the longest time from that angle. Now, I believe what's happened is we've come in, and pardon me for having these on the picture, but to give you an idea, like this would be the center sun area. We've come around, and I think we've come into them. And they were like hanging out above us over here, and that's where they are. They're right now in passing, and that's what's really cool about this. And I'll get to that here in a sec. In the passings, they're becoming illuminated, and we've been looking at the dark side for the longest time. And every once in a while, we'll get a side pass, and then we'll see a slight lit up side of it. But now they're coming in facially. Now, a lot of people, BP Earthwatch, everybody else is talking about this magnetosphere change. We've got numerous pictures where our magnetosphere is like fanning out and doing these weird things in it. And I wish I could, have the computer skills to slap all these pictures up, but perhaps I'll send one to James and he can put one up right at this spot. But anyway, and I've digressed off the planetary stuff, and I apologize. Coffee. Anyway, some really cool changes has happened, and we have been traveling in a different pattern than we used to, and it's unbelievable. And I had this one. I know you folks probably saw this at the beginning, and this is the old picture. This is what it used to look like back when Nibiru was on the right-hand side of our sun during the day after she had gotten here and arrived and moved over to the right-hand side in 2013 after getting big, coming up from in the north of the sky in the morning, and she was small at first, and then she got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it became literally the size, like you're seeing here up Saru. But then it became big, and then a sky pillar. And a lot of you new folks don't understand when I'm saying sky pillar, I mean these things have gotten from smaller to bigger to bigger to bigger to filling our skies, where they're literally in some cases directly over the top of us or pulling away. And now movement lately during the day has been a heck of a lot faster. But anyway, back to movement. What I believe has happened, and this is just a generalization because it's really hard to figure, their spiral rotation, which is now currently the opposite of ours, which is why things are speeding up twice as fast, because it's like two cars heading toward each other, they double the speed. Okay, what I believe has happened during the winter months, and I don't fully understand this, is I believe because last year we had a very close Saturn pass. And Saturn and Nemesis orbit on this side of Saru, where Uri and Atu orbit on that side of Saru, presuming that Saru was right here. I apologize, I'm going back and forth on you, but I apologize. Now, I believe what we've done is we've rounded past Saturn, past Nemesis, because for the longest time last year, Nemesis was over the top of us doing the rain bombs, and she was in very close proximity to us daily. And it's like Earth has this little weird spiral underneath these things going on, which I also cannot account for. It's like having a kite and you pull it behind a truck. I think it's going woo, 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 because these things are affecting us when we pass each other by in numerous ways. You have to take into account this is an electric universe. People all freak out, well, if these planets were here, we'd have crashed into them. The planets do not crash into each other. They're positively charged electrical bodies that repel each other. They go zzz, 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 no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. Before it even gets anywhere close to the planet itself, these electrical arms are pushing each other away. That said, moving on. All right, and I believe what we've done recently, and I don't, they're spiraling, so perhaps their spiral is linked in with our placement in a certain third planet, orbit from there on connection. You have to figure two linking connections trying to figure all this together. And I believe what we're done is we're going like this. Because Atu and Uri have suddenly, in the last 6 weeks, been seen past Earth. And for those of you who have been following me, you know what I'm talking about. We're having illuminations first thing in the morning. Now, this time schedule will change because they're faster than ours. So this is constantly changing, which is what makes it twice as hard to figure out. Atu and Uri have been coming in from behind us, and that's where I was talking about the magnetosphere flip-outs. When this planet comes in next to our planet, say for instance Earth was there, I'll throw up a purple Earth, and I apologize, that's usually Atu, but anyway, when another planet, smaller or bigger, and bigger has usually got more of an electrical effect, when they come up behind us, they affect our wake eddy. Because our magnetosphere is directly related to solar material coming past our planet, and it goes around us and then does this little a back eddy area. And now that back eddy area is very important to space travel for the ETs, and for those of you who want to get into that, Google it, man. Anyway, it's a cool thing. It's behind every planet. You'll love it when you figure out what it is. If you figure it out. It's kind of cool. Anyway, moving on. When Atu and Uri have been coming up behind Earth, they're affecting our magnetosphere. And for those of you who are interested, go ahead and check this out. So, anyway, that's what I believe has been happening. Now, I'm going to show you on a planetary basis what has been happening from Atu and Uri, because we saw them in in the last few months, we've always seen, well, actually in the last well over a year and a half, we've seen Attu and Uri have been on the right-hand side of the sun. Isatum and Nepesity and Matim crosses regularly, like in this 3-week circle underneath the whole lot. It's a tiny moon size, but anyway, I digress. Nepesity, the spotted green planet, and Isatum, the red planet with its yellow moon. Now, the yellow moon is what puts off the wings. Everybody, the new people who are saying, oh, the winged planet Nibiru, which makes them think it's red, because that's internet BS. Anyway, because we know that because we've seen enough evidence of it, especially with information that I've gained from other sources throughout the internet, and my years of experience in watching this, and my previous Pleiadian notice I stumble when I say that, Pleiadian off-world information. And I'm not guessing here. Okay, something the other channels don't have. Those guys are, maybe they have their, their minor degree in computer skills or whatever. But I'm not guessing here because I'm a published suppressed scientist. Now, if you don't believe that, grow some clearance and look it up. Anyway, I apologize for digressing off into the left field again. Now, what's been going on is everybody has been seeing Attu. It's been coming across the sky from the right-hand side and getting really close and right up in our face. But now lately, it's coming from behind us and into our sky and then lifting away that direction in front of us. And you guys are watching some of the sky cams and stuff, and Attu is actually rotating, and you can see the little fingers of Attu, because Attu has some fingers also, but I didn't get into that, and I apologize. Well, maybe we'll add that later, but we'll see depending on what time allows. I'm already into 17 minutes. Man, this is going to be a long download or upload, excuse me. So you've all been seeing that a lot lately. So I'm going to get to the shapes, and we'll just move on. All right. Now we believe that Attu and that Nibiru and Nibiru is still in our minds and in our now showing back up in our eyes is still on the right-hand side of what we're viewing. Okay, now I'm putting up this dark blue and an oval. Saru is the same. All of a sudden we're seeing Saru again. And she's over here a little bit higher than Nibiru because we've somehow plane changed a little bit. We've dropped and lifted, and we're doing it a different angle. Instead of a flat dinner plate, we've come at an angle like this recently, or like this, depending on how you're going to focus on this. Now, Nepesity is moving backwards from where it was. It was, for the last few months, really, really up in our face and right here. And with the other planets in the way, you could not see Nibiru because Nibiru has been in the back. But with the other planets in place, you can't see it. So, Nepesity has been like that, and you couldn't see Saru either. But now, Nepesity is starting to get smaller because as we round the group and head underneath Uri and Attu, we're heading underneath them because they're passing overhead, so it's actually not them moving so much as it is us moving. Okay? Lost paper here, lost paper there. Let me give you a reference point. All right, we've had our sun. Ta-da! Yay, our sun. Okay, now, Nepesity, the green spotted planet, and I don't believe there's any life forms living on this because it's pretty highly volcanic, and I believe it's probably made out of something like copper or whatever. But anyway, I digress. Coffee speaks. Yeah. Anyway, I apologize. There we go. What was Uri and Attu? Uri was in the background, Attu was in front, and then their size changes. They varied in size over time, back and forth and back and forth. What has happened is Attu has been crossing visually in front of the sun, and in some cases like that. We even have the eclipse that everybody thought was the moon, I truly believe was Attu passing, because there's pictures of this purple eclipse. Attu. Don't always believe what they tell you. This is doing that, that is doing this. When there's something hokey, it is. Anyway, what's been happening is Attu has gotten way, way big, and during the day it comes in, and it comes from behind us, and it goes like this during the day, crosses the sun, and is now sitting over here like this. Attu has a very visible moon which is very white, and it has been creating an offshoot cloud and working its way up this way. Now, there's also an ion drag-off cloud that goes from this moon all the way over to to Uri and stuff, and Uri has gotten bigger. Now, Uri is now cutting off the sun as well on this side, and we have forgotten to mention what everybody else is citing out there and thinking is Nibiru. No, darn, I went and lost my smaller is Saturn. I hate it when this happens mid-film. Anyway, yeah, I did. I lost my little red planet. Red is Saturn, and for purposes, we're going to call this red. Saturn has been coming over the top of the sun in many sightings, along with its yellow moon. And boy, I wonder where that ended up. This is kind of a pain in the butt. And because it's part of my visual here. But anyway, Saturn has now moved to this side of the sun. And as Uri is crossing during the day, Saturn is visible. Now, Uri has worked its way in, and in some cases, it's over the top of us, and yet there's still a certain amount of sunlight showing. And it's cutting off the sun. I got pictures from Mark in Ireland the other day where that was doing that, and they had a cut off from At2 over here like this. See, and then you're getting this direct, this is all the light you get, is the line of sight was where the sun breaks in these huge luminescent flares. So anyway, what's going on is Uri is now crossing. At2 is very, very close, and I believe it's truly affecting Earth's weather. If you look at that East Coast storm that's been going on, where it's been going on for 2 weeks, and Texas has reported purple skies. Chicago the other day, day before yesterday, purple skies in the middle of this nasty, nasty snowstorm. These planets are directly affecting us with drag-off eddies. When they go by, they drag past Earth and create a repetitive weather event. Now, the snail foot of At2 was seen yesterday in radar. Okay, I'm going to try and just do this really quick because I've already gone to 25 minutes. So I want you to know that At2 and Uri are very close, and we're seeing some huge, huge changes. And Isatum is starting to work its way up. Now, granted, this is bigger, and I apologize. But Isatum is also being seen at night. And that is because the planets that are coming up behind us are becoming illuminated at night, and which answers that question where everybody says, well, how come we can't see it at night? There's reports of purple skies in the middle of the night, and there's reports of red skies in the middle of the night. And that is the planets sneaking up behind us, or as Earth has gone forward into the turn, and then they are above us and behind us. It's been really hard because Uri puts off this really white base cloud that goes across the sky for everybody, and then it steals our view of everything. And some of you may have noticed that it's happening in the afternoons. You can have a nice clear morning, and then all of a sudden the whole sky is cloudy and everything's gray and rainy. Well, that's because Uri is coming in over the top of us in the day and facially illuminating, and it's very bright in the sky, and people are seeing sunsets that are just white, and yet the sun hasn't even come up yet. That's because At2 and Uri are coming in and being illuminated. Anyway, I've made this 25 minutes. Aloha from tropical Montana. I hope this gives you a heads up what's going on. Remember, flaring comes from cutoffs. Okay, don't include your little weird flares in some pictures. Now, once in a while, that's okay because it does show our friend, the object cluster group, which is still coming in front of and now passing the sun scenario right like this, and we're getting shots where we're seeing the multiple little light dot things, which everybody's thinking is the planets, when actually it's the rainbow illuminated object cluster group, which has been sighted by us for almost 5-6 years, and NASA announced that it's called the asteroid pack. Well, anyway, go look that stuff up. Aloha from tropical Montana. Hey, watch out, guys. There's some really nasty weather out there, and it's directly related to these. Take care.